This happened a few years ago. I was 35 then and an experienced hiker. I loved outdoor adventures and often wrote about them. I decided to hike part of the Appalachian Trail looking for peace in nature. I set up my tent in a quiet clearing. It felt good to be alone, surrounded by trees and the sounds of birds. I made a small fire and cooked my dinner. The stars started to come out and I felt calm. As night fell, everything changed. Around 10 p.m., I heard rustling outside my tent. My heart jumped. I sat still, straining to listen. The rustling got closer. I peered out, but I couldn't see anything. I shook my head, telling myself it was just an animal. I crawled back into my sleeping bag, trying to push away the unease creeping in. My mind raced with thoughts I didn't want. Then I heard it again. This time it was like soft whispers. I couldn't make out the words, but the sound sent chills down my spine. I told myself I was being silly. I needed sleep, so I closed my eyes, but the whispers didn't stop. They felt wrong, like they were calling to me. I finally drifted into a restless sleep. The next day, I packed up my gear, but noticed something strange. My backpack was slightly open. I was sure I had zipped it tight the night before. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe I had forgotten. I hiked further into the woods, but paranoia gnawed at me. I took breaks and tried to enjoy the scenery, but the feeling that I was being watched was hard to shake. That night, I found a new spot to camp. As I set up, I heard chanting again. It was distant, but growing louder. I stepped outside my tent. Shadows danced among the trees. I felt my heart panicking. I couldn't tell if I was imagining things or if the voices were real. I wanted to leave, to get away from the sounds, but something kept me frozen. In the dead of night, the chanting stopped. It felt too quiet. I was wide awake, listening for the next sound. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. They were fast, coming right at me. I clutched my flashlight. I aimed it at the sound and saw a figure at the edge of my camp. I couldn't tell if it was a man or something else. My breath caught in my throat. "Who's there?" I yelled. No answer. I stepped closer, and the figure vanished into the trees like smoke. My hands shook. I felt sick. It was like my mind was playing tricks on me. Just then, I heard a whisper right behind me. "Why did you come here?" I spun around, but nobody was there. The air felt thick. I hurried back to my tent, my heart racing. Every sound seemed amplified now. I lay there, barely breathing, praying for morning. The whispers and shadows still haunt me. I've never stopped thinking about what I saw, or didn't see. I never went back to that part of the trail. I still wonder if I was truly alone out there. The next morning, I woke to the harsh brightness of the sun slicing through the trees. The whispers and shadows of the night before felt distant, almost like a bad dream. I packed quickly, eager to leave the strange clearing behind. As I hiked, I tried to shake off the unsettling feeling, focusing on the beauty around me. The leaves rustled softly in the breeze, and birds chirped as if everything were normal. But I couldn't forget that feeling of being watched. The excitement of the trail was gone. Now I felt like prey. After a couple of hours, I decided to take a break at a nearby stream. I sat on a rock, splashing my face with cold water. That's when I noticed something just off the path. At first, it looked like a piece of fabric caught on a branch. Curiosity pulled me closer. As I approached, I could see it was a torn piece of a shirt. The color was dark and muddy, like it had been there for a long time. I picked it up, heart racing. It had a strange symbol stitched into it, something I had never seen before. The fabric felt coarse, rough against my skin. I glanced around, half expecting someone to leap out from behind a tree. But the area was silent. I quickly shoved it into my pocket, feeling a mix of intrigue and dread. Was it from someone lost on the trail, Or worse, someone who had encountered the same whispers I had? I shook off the thought, convincing myself it was just a shirt. I continued hiking, but the feeling of paranoia returned. Each crack of a twig felt amplified. The trees seemed taller, their shadows stretching longer. I looked over my shoulder more often than I cared to admit. As night began to fall, I knew I needed to find a place to camp. With the sun setting, I searched for a clear area, but felt the weight of my previous experiences hanging over me. I finally found a small clearing, but it felt wrong. It was too quiet. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back, but I was too exhausted to keep going. I set up my tent, trying to dismiss the gnawing feeling in my gut. That night, I heard it again. The chants returned, twisting in the night air. I sat up, my heart racing. It was so familiar, yet it felt different this time, more intense. The hair on my arms stood up as I strained to listen. I thought about the piece of shirt in my pocket and felt a chill. Should I have left it behind? When I finally crawled into my sleeping bag, I tried not to think about what lay beyond the thin fabric of my tent. Just as I was closing my eyes, I heard the footsteps again, rushing towards me. This time, there were multiple pairs of them. My breath caught in my throat. Then, everything went dark. I jolted awake, heart pounding, disoriented in the pitch black. The sounds had faded, but my mind still raced. Was it a dream? The echoes of footsteps lingered, and I strained to listen for anything. A rustle, a snap, a whisper. I fumbled for my flashlight, my hands shaking so much that I almost dropped it. Finally, I clicked it on, the beam cutting through the dark. The light danced around the inside of my tent, casting eerie shadows against the fabric. All was still. Taking a deep breath, I slowly unzipped the tent flap. The moment I opened it, a chill ran through me. The clearing looked different. The shadows seemed deeper, more menacing. I stepped outside, the cool air biting at my skin, and instinctively I scanned the perimeter. Then something caught my eye. Just beyond the trees, a sliver of light flickered. I felt an odd mix of fear and curiosity. I crouched down, straining to see through the foliage. The light flickered again, almost like a beacon calling me closer. Should I move toward it or retreat? I blinked, trying to make sense of it. The chants from the night before faded into memory, replaced by the haunting idea that I was not alone. I felt the weight of the torn shirt in my pocket, and all I could think was that whoever it belonged to might still be out here. The light flickered once more, this time more urgently. I took a deep breath, my heart racing. Against my better judgment, I crept forward, moving quietly on the forest floor. Each step felt like a challenge, testing my bravery. The light intensified as I approached. Then it vanished. A creeping dread washed over me. I paused, straining to hear any sign of life, but all was again silent. My heart sank, and I felt foolish. Maybe it had been nothing. A firefly? An illusion? Just as I turned to head back, I heard it again, the soft chant, rising and falling like a dark melody. I froze, fear gripping me. This was no mere coincidence. It felt like a warning. If I could just find the source of the sound, maybe I could understand it. Or maybe not. The thought sent a cold shiver down my spine. Determined, I followed the sound, heart thumping in my chest. Each chant grew louder, echoing through the trees. The air felt electric, charged with something I couldn't name. I stepped carefully, feeling an unseen force urging me onward. Then, without warning, the light reappeared, not in front of me, but behind. I whipped around, shining my flashlight to where the brightness spilled from the trees. My breath hitched. It was another person. No, a figure, bathed in an otherworldly glow. I couldn't see details. It was just a silhouette. but I felt it watching me, studying me. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was frozen in place. And then the chanting stopped. Everything felt impossibly still, weighty with expectation. I could hardly process what I was seeing. It was as if I was on the edge of something terrifyingly significant, teetering between flight and fight. Just then, I heard rustling in the distance, breaking the tension. The figure turned, and in that moment, I realized something. It was not just me who was lost in these woods. I took a step back, too late to turn around. "What do you want?" I managed to croak, and then it spoke. "Help." The word came out as a whisper, more like a breath than a sound. I squinted, trying to see the figure's face, but shadows concealed everything. "Help with what?" I asked, my fear mingling with confusion. The figure stepped closer, the glow revealing more of its form. It looked like a person, but something was off. Its movements were too fluid, almost ethereal. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "We need you to listen." "Listen?" I echoed, taking a shaky step back. "Why me?" The chanting had started up again, a low sound pulsing in the air. My stomach dropped as the realization hit. It wasn't just one voice, there were many, overlapping like a chorus. The feeling of being watched intensified, prickling at the back of my neck. "They feel you, they sense your fear," the figure said, its voice tinged with urgency. "You cannot turn away." My heart raced. "Who feels me? What are you talking about?" The figure pointed behind me, and I instinctively turned. The trees looked darker, the shadows shifting. "They are close," it said, "and they don't want you here." I felt a surge of panic. I needed to run, to escape, but my feet felt glued to the ground. "What do I do?" I choked out, my voice barely a whisper. "Follow," the figure instructed, stepping back into the shadows. A shiver danced through me as it began to fade, the glow dimming. Just then, I heard a rustling again, louder this time, like something or someone was moving in the underbrush. I hesitated, caught between the unknown figure and whatever was lurking in the darkness. It felt like a choice between two terrifying paths, both filled with risks I couldn't see. "Wait," I called out, desperate for answers. "What do you want me to do?" The figure paused, its outline wavering. "Find the truth," it said, its voice a mere echo now. "You must not forget the chant." And then it was gone. The chanting stopped abruptly, replaced by an eerie stillness. I stood alone, my heart hammering in my chest. I stared into the blackness, fear clawing at my throat. Time felt suspended. My mind raced, frantically replaying the encounter. Discovering the truth? What truth? The phrase nibbled at my thoughts, intermingling with the faintest echoes of the chant. As I gathered myself, the rustling returned, this time followed by a guttural growl. My blood ran cold. I spun around, gripping my flashlight harder, the beam faltering as I aimed it toward the noise. Then, everything went dark, the flashlight flickering and dying. I was swallowed by shadows. I had to move, had to find a way out. I took off, heart racing, stumbling through the underbrush, unsure where I was going. Each breath felt more desperate than the last. A sense of urgency pushed me forward. Just as I thought I'd lost whatever had been following me, I tripped over something solid. I hit the ground hard, gasping in pain. And that's when I saw it. An old, weathered stone with strange markings carved into it, half buried in the earth. A wave of realization washed over me. This was more than just a campsite. It held secrets I was only beginning to uncover. And in that moment, the chanting flared up again, filling the air around me. They were close, too close. I lay there for a moment, catching my breath. The air felt thick with tension, almost buzzing. I touched the stone, tracing the markings with trembling fingers. They looked like symbols, ancient and unsettling. What did they mean? The chanting grew louder, a steady rhythm that seeped into my bones. The heaviness of the moment pressed down on me, suffocating my thoughts. Fear gnawed at my insides, urging me to flee. Yet, I was anchored by the stone, as if it was a tether to something profound, something crucial. Another rustle interrupted my thoughts, sharper this time. I jerked my head up and aimed my flashlight toward the sound, but only darkness greeted me. I was still alone, but the feeling of being watched persisted, more intense than before. "Please, just let me go," I muttered to the shadows. And then, without warning, a figure burst forth from the trees. It was tall and cloaked in darkness, its face obscured. Instinct took over. I scrambled backward until my back hit the stone, cold and unyielding. "Who are you?" I shouted, my voice cracking with fear. The figure froze, tilting its head, as if it were trying to understand me. Its silence only heightened my panic. "What do you want? This isn't funny." The words spilled out in a rush, desperation coating my voice. Then, in a voice that sounded both distant and close, it answered. "The chant. You must remember the chant." Just like the other figure. Anguish filled me. "What chant?" I demanded, my mind racing. A flicker of recognition crossed the figure's face. Suddenly, the chanting swelled again. But it wasn't just a haunting echo now. It felt alive, weaving through the air, wrapping around me like a net. I shut my eyes, trying to block it out, but it pierced through. "Join us," the figure said, stepping forward. "You are needed." I forced my eyes open, struggling to comprehend its words. Needed? For what? The figure shifted closer, and I caught a glimpse of its eyes. Hollow, endless voids that sent chills down my spine. My instincts screamed at me to run, but the ground felt like it was holding me hostage, keeping me rooted in place. "You must understand the truth. You are but a part of a cycle, an offering, a key," it hissed, and the chanting intensified, almost drowning out everything else. "What cycle? An offering?" I stammered. Confusion blended into dread. "I don't want to be part of anything." That's when I noticed the shadows behind the figure, emerging from the trees like tendrils reaching for me. They twisted and turned, coiling around my feet, dragging me down. I fought against the pull, my heart racing. The stone. I grabbed onto it tighter, its rough surface grounding me. "No!" I screamed, channeling all my will into breaking free. A sudden burst of light flared around me, blinding and fierce. The shadows wailed, recoiling from the brightness. The figure vanished, leaving me gasping in the aftermath. But the chanting remained, echoing in my ears, now a chorus of voices crying out for release. I stumbled to my feet, adrenaline pumping. As I turned to flee, a new realization hit me. I was no longer just running from darkness. I was running towards something more profound. What truth awaited me if I followed the echoes? With a deep breath, I swallowed my fear and stepped into the darkness, determined to reveal what lay hidden in that ancient chant. The ground shifted beneath my feet as I pressed deeper into the shadowy woods. Branches snatched at my clothes, whispering secrets that I wasn't ready to hear. Each step sent tremors of apprehension through me, but the chanting drew me closer, a thread I couldn't ignore. I wasn't sure how far I traveled, but the trees seemed to grow thicker around me, coiling like serpents. The air was colder now, a chill that slipped through my skin, seeping into my bones. Just as the last traces of light faded from the sky, I heard it again, a distinct rustling so close it made my heart leap. I spun around, flashlight shaking in my hands. Is someone there? My voice was barely a whisper against the encroaching darkness. Silence answered, thick and heavy. Then, ahead of me, a shape emerged, another figure. I felt the weight of fear settle on my chest, but there was something different about this one. It stood still, shrouded in shadow, yet somehow resolute. "Do you seek the truth?" it asked, its voice like crushed gravel, echoing from deep within. I don't know," I stammered. "What truth?" "Not all who wander this path choose their fate," it said cryptically. "Some are guided, some are lost." My breath hitched as I fought to keep my panic at bay. Guided by whom? As if on cue, the chanting surged again, this time surrounding me like a storm. It was as though the trees themselves had come alive, their branches swaying in rhythm with the haunting sounds. I felt pulled in every direction, unsure of where to go. "The offering has already begun," the figure said, softly, stepping closer. I could finally make out its features. Eyes, dark and penetrating, locked onto mine. "You must accept your role." "Role?" I echoed, searching for a way to escape their gaze. I don't want a role, I just want to leave." With a sudden jerk, the figure reached out, grasping my arm with an icy grip. "It is too late for that," it hissed. "You've been marked. The cycle has chosen you." I gasped, the urge to run surging back, but this time there was nowhere to run. Shadows materialized around me, a swirling mass of darkness that seemed alive. Desperation clawed at my throat. "What do you want from me?" The figure leaned closer, its breath freezing against my skin. "You must remember the chant. It is the key." And then, without another word, it pushed me. I stumbled back against the tree, trying to regain my balance. The ground gave way beneath me like a trapdoor, and I fell into darkness. I landed hard, gasping for air. The chanting poured into my ears again, but now it felt different, urgent and insistent. I struggled to sit up, my heart pounding. Light flickered all around me, casting long shadows that danced. That's when I saw it, a faint glow in the distance. I stumbled toward it, hope and fear weaving together. Would it lead me to safety or deeper into peril? I didn't know, but I had to find out. I had no choice. As I drew closer, the chanting crescendoed once more, and in its wake, I felt a power unfurling around me. I reached the light, fingers outstretched, yearning for answers. And then, everything went dark. I woke up in a damp pit, the air heavy with a musty scent. Blinking away the disorientation, I tried to focus on my surroundings. The glow seemed to pulse ahead, a weak beacon in the darkness. I pushed myself up, pain shooting through my limbs as I stumbled. The chanting still echoed, but now it felt closer. It swirled in the air, a rhythmic pulse that matched my racing heart. The light was just ahead, weaving through the trees, but never quite reaching me. I followed it, the urge to uncover its source overpowering my instincts to flee. "Where am I?" I whispered to no one. My voice cracked in the stillness, swallowed by the shadows. I felt the weight of unseen eyes upon me, watching my every move. The thought made my skin crawl. As I approached the light, it flickered and danced, revealing brief glimpses of what lay beyond. A rough stone altar, circled by ancient trees, their gnarled roots twisted like fingers grasping at the earth. My breath caught at the sight of something resting atop the altar. It shimmered, reflecting the light in strange ways. The chanting morphed into a clearer voice, a cacophony of words I couldn't decipher. Each syllable pressed against my mind like a weight, urging me to remember. I stepped closer, heart pounding in my chest. "What is this?" I murmured, reaching for the object. Just then, a shrill cry pierced the air, startling me backward. I whipped around, the glow fading as the trees closed in around the altar. A figure emerged from the shadows, a silhouette cloaked in darkness. I couldn't see its face, but I sensed a malicious intent, a looming threat that froze me in place. "Foolish child," it rasped, its voice a twisted mockery of the figure I'd encountered before. "You think you can take what isn't yours." I'm not trying to take anything," I stammered, taking a cautious step back. My heart raced as perceptions collided. I was still trapped in some horrific dream, and yet it all felt too real. The figure stepped closer, and the light flared up again. I could see patches of moss and shards of glass strewn around like the remnants of a forgotten ritual. "You are marked for the offering. The cycle must continue." Offering? The word felt foreign, heavy on my tongue. It held a sense of dread I couldn't shake. The figure raised a hand, and the ground beneath me trembled violently. "No, stop!" I shouted, now fully aware of the danger. The shadows swirled around my feet, slowly creeping up my legs. Panic surged through me as I fought against the encroaching darkness. "What do you want from me?" "You'll find out soon enough," it hissed. Just then, as if on cue, the chanting rose again, drowning out my thoughts and fears. The trees shook, their branches swaying violently. In that moment, everything shattered. The light exploded in a blinding flash, and the chanting hit a painful crescendo. I shielded my eyes, heart hammering, wondering if I would even survive this encounter. And just like that, I was dragged backward, my feet slipping out from under me. I screamed as I fell into the shadows, the last thing I saw being those dark eyes now gleaming with a sinister satisfaction. The world faded away as I tumbled through blackness, the voice echoing in my mind. "You will become part of the cycle." I landed hard, gasping as my body hit the ground. My senses flooded back, but the reality was nothing like I expected. I was in another forest, but this one was eerily silent. Gone was the chanting and the oppressive feeling from before. Instead, I felt an odd calm, as if the air itself was holding its breath. I pushed myself up again, checking my surroundings. The trees here were tall and thin, their bark pale against the darkness. I turned around, searching for any sign of the figure that had haunted me moments before. Nothing. "Hello?" My voice was weak, cracking as it echoed through the stillness. No response, just my heartbeat thudding in my ears. I squinted into the shadows, unsure how to proceed. After a moment, I noticed something glinting on the ground ahead of me. I cautiously approached, fear gripping me. It was a broken piece of glass, jagged and sharp. But on closer inspection, it wasn't just glass. It seemed to have symbols etched into its surface, symbols I couldn't recognize. They pulsed faintly, just like the light from before. As I reached for it, the air shifted. A chilling breeze swept past me, and I felt the weight of eyes again. This time, I wasn't alone. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a flicker of movement. I turned quickly, but there was nothing, just the trees swaying gently, as if taunting me. I took a deep breath, willing myself to stay calm. "Get a grip," I murmured. "You need to figure this out." I picked up the shard of glass, but the moment I touched it, pain shot through my fingertips. I yelped and dropped it, the piece clattering to the ground. Then, voices. Low whispers began to surround me, echoing from all directions. I strained to listen, but the words were tangled and indistinguishable. Threads of sound wrapping around my mind, pulling me deeper into confusion. My heart raced again, threatening to break free. That's when I saw it, a shadowy figure darting between the trees, its outline flickering in and out of existence. It was similar to the one I had encountered earlier, but this felt different, more ethereal. "Show yourself," I yelled, defiance bubbling up inside me. I needed answers, and I would not be a victim again. "Child of the cycle," a voice whispered, smooth and cold like ice. It seemed to seep from the ground itself, wrapping around me. "You must follow what has been chosen. The path is unwinding." I took a step back. "Chosen? What are you talking about?" Panic pulled at me like a child tugging their parent's hand. "Not all paths lead to the light," it continued, the shadow lurching closer, shapes twisting around it. "Some paths march toward endless darkness." I turned and ran, adrenaline surging through my veins. I sprinted between the trees, branches clawing at my skin. I didn't look back. My lungs burned, but I pushed harder, desperate to escape whatever fate awaited me. I needed to reach the edge of this nightmare. Then I stumbled upon a clearing, a vast space illuminated by a sickly light. In the center sat an enormous stone structure, similar to a temple, covered in the same symbols I had seen on the glass shard. And at the base, I could see several figures standing in a circle, their heads bowed. That's when I realized they were waiting for me. I froze. The figures in the circle, dressed in tattered robes, slowly raised their heads. Time felt like stopped. My heart pounded in my chest as their blank stares met mine. There were 5 of them, their faces obscured by shadows, but I could sense a shared purpose in their stillness. "Why are you here?" one of them hissed, and I flinched at the raspy quality of their voice. It was unsettling, unnatural. I wanted to run, but my legs felt heavy, anchored to the earth beneath me. I stammered, searching for a coherent response. "I don't know. I'm lost." That was the truth. Yet deep down, I felt something more sinister lurking in their expressions. "What you seek cannot be found unless you accept it," another figure said, her voice resonating strangely within the clearing. I couldn't tell how, but it was like the sound came from everywhere at once. "Accept what?" I shot back, frustration boiling over. "What do you want from me?" I struggled to keep my voice steady. The whispers in the wind seemed to answer this new question, growing louder and more chaotic. "You are the key," said the first figure, stepping forward. A pale hand reached from the robe, its fingers curling as if inviting me closer. "Step onto the path, and you will understand." A jolt of panic surged through me. "No, I won't play your games." I backed away, but the clearing felt smaller. The trees closed in, and the air thickened around me. With every step, the figures began to chant in a language I didn't recognize, their voices merging into one haunting melody. It felt like I was being pulled into their rhythm, the sound vibrating through my bones. I was losing my grip on reality. Just then, the ground beneath me trembled. I stumbled forward and nearly fell. The temple seemed to pulse with energy, responding to the chant. I could see the symbols on the structure glowing fiercely now, illuminating the darkness around me. "Do not resist," the voice scolded, and I could feel the weight of their words pressing down on me. I glanced back over my shoulder. The dark forest now felt like a trap. I turned my attention back to the figures. "Wait!" I shouted, desperation spilling over. "What happens if I follow you?" The chanting stopped abruptly, and silence fell like a heavy curtain. The robed figures exchanged glances, as if weighing my words. "They will come for you," the woman said softly, her gaze piercing through the shadows. "Who will come?" My voice wavered. "What are you talking about?" But the answer was caught in the silence, my heart pounding in the absence of their reply. That's when I noticed the outline of something in the distance, just beyond the trees. A pair of glowing eyes, brighter and more menacing than before, staring straight at me. My breath caught in my throat. I was being hunted, and it was closing in. I had to make a choice. I could stay and confront the figures, or I could run toward the dark presence that lurked behind the trees. But I knew that whatever I picked, it wouldn't end well. The path before me was fraught with danger, and I could feel my limits being tested. The ground shook again, and I realized I didn't have much time. I took a deep breath, pushing aside the creeping dread that threatened to swallow me. The figures loomed closer, their chanting echoing in my mind, urging me to step forward. But the glowing eyes in the distance served as a terrifying reminder of the imminent danger lurking just out of sight. "Enough!" I yelled, voice trembling but resolute. "I won't be a part of any cycle. I'm not yours to own." The words hung in the air, and for a fleeting moment, uncertainty flickered across their faces. Then, just as quickly, the air crackled with tension. The eyes in the darkness darted closer, and I felt the ground tremble beneath me once more. "They have come," the first figure whispered, an eerie calm overtaking its voice. I glanced between the dark shapes behind the trees and the chanting figures before me. My options dwindled. I turned on my heel and ran toward the swarming figures, adrenaline coursing through me. "What do I do?" I cried, breathless. "How do I escape this?" "Face what you fear," shouted the last figure, its voice barely cutting through the rising chaos. I glanced over my shoulder just as the eyes drew closer, morphing into something solid, a grotesque shape darting in and out of shadows. An insatiable hunger filled the forest air, sending a shock through my system. "No, I can't face it," I pleaded, but my feet carried me forward toward the altar. I felt a strange compulsion to reach it, as if it held answers, perhaps the key to escape. The chanting launched into a new crescendo as I neared the stone altar, where the light flickered like a heartbeat. Something about it felt powerful, yet intimate, as it beckoned me with warmth amidst the encroaching darkness. I could resist no longer. As my trembling hands brushed the altar's surface, an overwhelming burst of light erupted. The chants intensified, each syllable wrapping around me, binding me to the heart of the stone. I could feel the force of the cycle trying to tether itself to me. It pulsed like a living entity, flowing through every inch of my body. And then, the shadowy creature lunged from the trees, its glowing eyes now fierce and penetrating. In that moment of impact, I felt a rush of realization, connection, clarity. It was not merely an evil that lurked in the darkness. It was part of the cycle, a guardian of the truths I had ignored. "What truth?" I gasped, my heart racing. "Face the truth," cried the figures, their voices blending into a cacophony of anticipation. The shadows swirled around me, mingling with the light illuminating the stone. Chants washed over me, each word igniting fragments of memories I couldn't place. Images flashed, lost stories, ancient rituals, and long faded screams. I was a part of it. "No!" I screamed into the chaos, retreating away from the altar, but the fabric of time held me. The figures closed in, their gazes unwavering. I will not be a key. But simultaneously, I felt the shadows wrapping around my limbs, pulling me in every direction. The hollow eyes of the creature bore into my soul, and I grasped the truth. I couldn't outrun what had already claimed me. I gasped, struggling against the invisible bonds. And then the stone glowed brighter, synchronizing with my pulse. A surge of clarity hit me like a jolt of electricity, and I remembered the chant, just pieces of it echoing in my mind, pushing to surface against the roar of the chaos. With a strength I didn't know I possessed, I opened my mouth and began to speak, reciting the chant in a trembling voice. Each word pierced through the darkness, wrapping around me, the tension around my body easing fractionally. Light engulfed me. In one frantic moment, the shadows, the figures, the cycling energy that had swept through the forest, all converged into a radiant pulse that exploded outward. I felt a release so profound that it threatened to tear me apart, but I cherished it. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the energy, letting it wash over me. And when I dared to open them again, the world was different. The figures were gone. The chanting had faded into a soft echo of whispers. The forest stood still, enveloped in an eerie calm. I stumbled back, heart racing as I surveyed my surroundings. The trees now felt ancient yet familiar, the air lighter, void of the oppressive energy that had pressed down on me. Was it over? Had I escaped? I turned around slowly, feeling a flicker of hope. I still clutched the torn shirt in my pocket, the single symbol still inexplicably stitched within it. My mind raced with questions. How was I connected to all of this? I knew I had only brushed the surface of something far deeper. With rapid breaths, I began to walk away from the altar, my footsteps light on the forest floor. I might have escaped, but where would this path lead me next? Would the cycle return? What had really happened? I still don't have answers, and the clarity gained leaves me unsettled. But what I do know is that I carry the whispers with me. They linger on the edge of my consciousness long after stepping foot into the outside world. They're reminders, not of fear, but of a dance between the known and the unknown, and what it means to confront, rather than run from, the truths we unknowingly bear.